In music history, there are moments when a song leaves its creator's hands and becomes someone else's story. Johnny Cash's interpretation of Hurt is exactly such a moment. But before we dive into this story, we need to understand where it all began. In 1994, Nine Inch Nails released their album, The Downward Spiral. This album is considered a masterpiece of industrial rock. The album's final track, Hurt, was Trent Reznor's raw expression of personal darkness, pain, and struggle with addiction. The song was a pure reflection of Reznor's spiritual collapse during that period. When Reznor wrote the song, he was in the darkest period of his life. He was battling drug addiction, depression, and self-destructive urges. Hurt was the audio documentation of this internal war. The song's raw, distorted guitars and electronic noise perfectly painted the sonic landscape of the chaos in Reznor's soul. But no one could have predicted the magic that would emerge 8 years later when a 71-year-old country legend touched this song. In the early 2000s, Johnny Cash was in the final phase of his career. Health problems were consuming him, and his beloved wife, June Carter Cash's health was also deteriorating. He was working with producer Rick Rubin on the American Recording series, and Rubin constantly suggested different songs to Cash. When Rubin played Trent Reznor's Hurt for Cash, the aging legend was initially hesitant. He normally stayed away from Nine Inch Nails' industrial dark sound. But when he read the lyrics, he felt as if the song had been written for him. Cash's interpretation was recorded in 2002 and appeared on the album American 4, The Man Comes Around. Rubin and Cash completely reimagined the song. They stripped away the industrial noise. What remained was just an acoustic guitar, a piano, and the broken voice of a 70-year-old man. In Cash's version, every word carried a different weight. Reznor's song was the rage and desperation of youth. Cash's was the balance sheet of a lifetime. The empire of dirt was no longer a young man's pit of addiction, but an old man's view of everything he'd left behind. During recording, Cash's voice trembled. His breathing had become difficult. But it was precisely this fragility that gave the song an unparalleled depth. In every note, there was an echo of death, a trace of regret. The music video, directed by Mark Romanek, is perhaps one of the most powerful works in music video history. The clip was filmed in Cash's former home, now a museum, the House of Cash in Nashville. As the video opens, we see an aged, exhausted Johnny Cash sitting at a table. His hands are shaking, his eyes weary. The camera slowly wanders through the house, and every frame tells a story. Old photographs on the walls, gold records in display cases, dusty instruments in corners. The most striking images in the video are the montages of young Cash and old Cash. On one side, the energetic, rebellious young man setting the stage on fire. On the other, an aging legend who has left all those moments behind, waiting at death's door. This contrast deeply shakes the viewer. The footage of June Carter Cash in the video is perhaps the most emotional moment. The couple had spent 35 years together at that point. In the clip, the moment when June and Johnny make eye contact as she looks at him from the stairs silently tells 1,000 things. June would pass away just a few months after the video was shot, and Johnny would follow her only 4 months later. There's one scene in the video that still gives people chills. Wine spilling over images of Cash's younger self, as if time, memories, everything is flowing away. When Romanek was filming the video, he was aware of Cash's condition. This wasn't just a music video. It was a farewell, a testament, and everyone felt it. When Trent Reznor first heard that Cash would be covering the song, he was uncertain. It seemed strange to him that someone else would touch this song that expressed his own pain, his own collapse. But when he watched the video, everything changed. In Reznor's own words, "I was a bit uneasy when I first heard about it, but then I watched the video and I cried. It wasn't my song anymore, it was his." In another interview, Reznor went even further. "Watching the video was a very emotional experience. It was like Johnny had taken the song from me, claimed it, and there was nothing wrong with that because he had interpreted it better than I had." This was a rare moment in music history, an artist acknowledging that their own work had become more meaningful in someone else's interpretation. Reznor's humility and honesty increased respect for both artists. The response following the video's release was tremendous. MTV, VH1, and all music channels constantly played the video. Young listeners discovered Johnny Cash. Older listeners learned about 9 Inch Nails. This became a bridge between generations. At the 2003 Grammy Awards, Hurt won Best Short-Form Music Video. Cash was also nominated for Best Male Country Vocal Performance, but the real award was the song Touching Hearts. Critics described the song as the most powerful performance of his career. Rolling Stone magazine included the video on its list of best music videos of all time. Johnny Cash passed away on September 12, 2003, 7 months after the Hurt video was filmed. The song and its video went down in history as his final message, his final farewell. And what a farewell! Today, more than 20 years later, Cash's version of Hurt still deeply affects people. Hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, countless reaction videos, constant references by musicians. This song is one of those rare works that defies time. So what made this cover so special? There are several factors. First, timing. This song, recorded in the final period of Cash's life, naturally took on a farewell atmosphere. Every word resonated like last words. Second, the depth of interpretation. Cash didn't just sing someone else's song, he transformed it into his own life story. A 50-year career, ups and downs, addiction, redemption, love and loss, all compressed into this 3.5-minute song. Third, the power of the video. The video, directed by Romanek, didn't just accompany the song, it merged with it. Images and music worked in perfect harmony. Fourth, the union of two great artists around this work. Reznor's humble acceptance and Cash's brave interpretation complemented each other. Hurt reminds us of this. Great art transcends generations, genres, and times. The song Reznor wrote in 1994 was reborn with Cash's 2002 interpretation, and both versions are perfect in their own time, in their own context. This story is also proof of the universality of music. Pain, regret, loss, these are emotions we all share. Whether you're a 30-year-old industrial rock artist or a 70-year-old country legend, these emotions unite us all. Johnny Cash's Hurt is much more than a cover. It's a testament, a confession, a farewell. And the fact that it made Trent Reznor cry is the most beautiful proof of the power of this interpretation. In music history, there are moments that go beyond perfection. Johnny Cash's Hurt is exactly such a moment.